Hello guys, welcome to my video again. Today I want to talk about the thyroid. The thyroid is a butterfly shaped gland that sits right in front of the neck. So I have a few things that I eat, and in eating them I think about my thyroid. They are the reason I try to incorporate some of these things into my diet. If you are eating overall healthy food, less processed food, staying away from things made out of flour, baked, cooked, whatever, then you are essentially taking care of your whole body, including your thyroid. But for me, I go out of my way to make sure that a few more things I have to do correctly. I used to be a fan of using Himalayan salt, pink salt. I have decreased the amount of that I use and transitioned back into using sea salt that has iodine in it, because Himalayan salt or the pink salt doesn't have iodine. You can still use it. It's okay, but you have to go out of your way to make sure that your sources of iodine in your diet is optimum. And not a lot of people can do that. So again, you can use it. You just have to make extra sure that you're eating things that have iodine in them, or taking iodine supplement. It comes in a solution. And personally, when I use the pink salt, I will use them. But I realize not everybody can do that. In my family, not everybody can do that. So I went back to the salt so they can get their iodine. But I kept it to the sea salt, trying to keep it as natural as possible, instead of the regular salt that is in the store. So that's for iodine, or iodine, whatever you call it. So the next thing that I make sure I eat every day is Brazil nut. So you don't need a lot of these when you buy them. I usually say buy a small container. That's my advice to people. And you can eat no more than 1 to 2 of these nuts every day. They are very huge, and I just eat 1 to 2, one every day. At any point in time, if I remember in the morning, I take it and take it to work and eat it in the afternoon once I start eating my food. So that's one thing you can do. Why? Because they have a lot of selenium. Selenium is a mineral, it's a nutrient that is very good for your thyroid. And to get more selenium, if you are not a nut person or you're allergic, I buy these. This is seaweed. This is seaweed snack, but seaweed comes in different form, and they don't taste so bad. And one packet has all the selenium that you need, but they are called seaweed. And that's about selenium. Selenium you can find in other foods, maybe just not a huge amount as much as you get from the Brazil nut. You really don't need a lot of it. You just want to make sure you are getting it. So the other thing that's really good for your thyroid is magnesium. I'm a great fan of magnesium, okay? I feel like it helps with migraine headaches. It helps with sleep. I take them every evening. So I don't really care what brand they are. I've always said that. You can buy any brand from any store, Amazon, wherever you get them from. I just personally try to make sure it says magnesium glycinate, because that's the form that helps. That's the form that helps with headaches, with sleep. And sleep is important. I still have to get to that video about sleep and how important it is. So I take that. The other thing is my vitamin D. I had my vitamin D measured. My provider did it, and it was very, very low. Your vitamin D should be anywhere from 30 to 100. I think mine was at 6. because here, especially here in the Western world and the Midwest, especially because it's cold for a very long time, a lot of us don't get enough vitamin D. So I take vitamin D. I take 2 to 5,000 units once every night. My level has since come up to 45, so I'm still working at it. And during the summer months, try to go out. If you're outside between 8 and 12 p.m., you get good sunlight that does not cause problems but helps your body make vitamin D by hitting your skin. So I take my vitamin D. This is just 1,000 units because I make my kids take the 1,000 units, but I take 5,000 units daily. So other than that, you need your B12. So if you are not a meat eater and you don't eat meat, you want to make sure you're taking a multivitamin that has B12 or just a B12. All right. And then obviously iron. You don't want to have low iron. When you have lower iron, that could affect your thyroid too. So you can get your iron from, again, nuts. I eat peanuts a little bit, but I eat cashew nuts, almonds, pecans. All right. So the other things that I want to mention when it comes to thyroid is one very important thing. If you already have a thyroid problem and you're diagnosed with a thyroid problem, please make sure that you are seeing your endocrinologist or your provider, whoever is taking care of you, and following their advice. If you are prescribed medication to take and follow-ups to check on your lab, make sure you're doing that. Okay, and you can also talk to them about any supplements. Also, if you have any kidney problems, you should be talking to your provider before you take any supplements, because everything we put into our body, the kidney has to take care of it and get it out. So if your kidney is already not functioning to its maximum or optimal level, then you don't want to be putting things in your body that the kidney cannot process. There are other foods that interfere with your thyroid function if you eat them a lot. One of them is the vegetables in the family of cruciferous vegetables. Cruciferous vegetables are very, very good for us. I eat them every day, almost every day, which is why I try to make sure I'm eating everything else that helps my thyroid. So that's the kale that I use to make my green smoothie, and I do eat a large amount of it. If you don't eat a big amount of it, you don't even have to worry about this. But the kale, cabbage, and a lot of them, just look up cruciferous vegetables. And I'm saying that because there are some vegetables in that family that are not, that will not cause problems with your thyroid. So you can look at that and manage your consumption, make sure you're not overeating them. And then, by the way, goiter is just the swelling of the thyroid. When your thyroid swells up, that's goiter. In some places where they do not have enough iodine, but I think by now most people have enough iodine in their diet because they get it through the salt. So in places where there is not enough iodine in the diet, people might develop goiter, and you will see a large thing on their neck, or where people are eating just pink salt and they're not getting any other form of iodine. That would also happen. Other things that might interfere with your thyroid medications, really all foods interfere with your thyroid medications if you take them together. You want to take your thyroid medicine 1 hour before any food. If you're on levothyroxine, that's the thyroid medicine, also called Synthroid. So you want to take it 1 hour before any food or other medications. Or if you eat the food, you want to wait 4 hours before you take your medication if you eat any food. So the only other thing I wanted to mention is ginger. Ginger can be very good for your health. Ginger is good for everything. I don't know if you've noticed. It's good for everything. I try to incorporate it into my smoothie. I try to put it in tea if I'm making tea. At every single time, you will always find a bag of ginger made, crushed, put in little cubes in my freezer, and they go into everything. So I think they are very, very good for you. Zinc, which you can find in legumes, chicken, beef, shellfish, they are very good for the thyroid. So these are the things to kind of look out for. But if every time you eat, you're looking at your table, your table, and on your plate, you have the rainbow. You have beautiful colors of vegetables. You have your protein, very little starch, and good fat like olive oil. You will find out that you are meeting everything I just said here, and it is the best way to meet the need of our body. And then in the morning, if you're able to, you go outside to the sun and get some sun on the skin, right? Make sure you do that before 10 o'clock, really. Before 10 o'clock is the optimum level of getting vitamin D without the harm of UVs from the sun. And then you eat your nuts. Like I said, that will give you your magnesium and most of the other stuff that you need. Exercise has a big role to play in everything, including your thyroid. If you're having any problems, please go to see your provider. Most of these problems do not, most of these deficiencies, let's say your thyroid is not working well, they don't even have, before you feel the symptoms, it will be much, much later. So that's why you want to be checked yearly when you go to see your doctor. You want to be checked yearly with all your labs. It's embedded in there. They will check your thyroid. And also, if you feel off, right, more constipation, more tired than usual, dry skin, you feel anything on your throat that is a little bigger than it should be, you should make sure you make that appointment and go in to be evaluated. Other than that, I think today I just wanted to go over the nutritional facts of things and what we should be doing. I'm not diving deep into the diseases of the thyroid. I'm just telling you how to take care of this one little but mighty organ that sits right there. Take care. Bye-bye.